Of all the logo designs that I've ever made in the past, this one is the design I'm most proud of. And for a good reason. Today's video will show you the full process, why certain decisions were made, and a pretty crazy plot twist at the end on the client's part. And this is actually a re-upload, but with new audio and extra bits added. So, how do I get from point A to point B with a real-life logo design project? The most important part in any logo design project is arguably the first few phases. And in case you're wondering, aileron for the typography is a strong presence in today's video. I know you guys love to know which fonts I'm using. So discussing the project with the client early on is really essential. You need to know everything about the client, their business, their goals and their pain points, and also their target audience. So let's get to know the client for this project and let's travel along that journey of the logo design process. The client for this specific logo design project reached out to me and described the situation in full. They were a new brand planning to launch in the jiu-jitsu world and had no logo or even a brand name. And that was their main fundamental problem I had to solve. This initial message is only one section, of course, but the first main action I did was to pull up some keywords of interest that would really help me later down the line. And you might be asking how a keyword is going to help you. How far can that actually go? Well, they simply help to better understand the project and the direction of the brand and the logo. So obviously, jiu-jitsu is going to be one keyword, and then I had things like teaching, people, team, strong, and community. You're probably going to notice from these first initial keywords, there's a kind of a sense of connection, of team, of togetherness, of people, but also a sense of strength and willingness. And of course, that's because it's a martial arts, so yeah, you'd expect that anyway. These words all describe the business and the overall feeling of the brand. And also remember, I had to actually generate the brand name for this project we're going to get to soon. But trying to think of the project in this way early on really will help you later down the line in your logo design projects. Oh, and there's also one crucial thing that you should never forget. Before you even design anything, you absolutely must secure a contract. Yes, I know I've mentioned it before on this channel, and I myself have actually fallen victim to, getting screwed over because I had no contract in design project, and granted, that was a long time ago now. But if you're still unsure how to write a contract, or you might even want a free template, just click that card in the corner. But yeah, moving on, the backbone of any logo design project is research, of course. So in case you guys didn't actually know, here's a brief description of what jiu-jitsu is. It's the martial art my logo and brand needed to relate to. And of course, also the jiu-jitsu community had to jive with my logo design and brand name. One of the first methods I used for research here was to actually make mood boards. And I often find them pretty useful. They can help to build a picture or a vibe of the business and the client, as well as the project direction. This was just one part of my mood board. And as you can see, typography is mainly a bold sans serif font in other existing designs. And also there's quite a strong sense of geometry in a lot of these designs. And we're going to soon dive deeply into that, trust me. Now as I conducted more and more research, it became obvious to me that a serif font would not work for this brand. Serifs are way too formal and traditional, and they wouldn't fit the narrative for a martial arts studio or any kind of sporting logo. But this is probably obvious to most designers anyway. One huge part of my logo design process, and something I mentioned in the logo design process e-guide, is the use of keywords. I actually asked the client in the initial stages to send over some keywords that relate to their brand and the message of the company. And these are some of the important ones that I pulled out from that list. I added to the list myself as well, but these keywords did help me build up concepts later in the logo design process. And you yourself should aim to get these keywords from your clients as early on as possible. But one crucial thing to keep in mind is that these keywords, they should resonate with the target audience of your client's brand. So as an example, in this specific project, that would be people who potentially would sign up to jiu-jitsu school or class, and these people would likely want to have a sense of community, togetherness, and a desire to become stronger and skilled in martial arts. A strong and robust expression is something that a martial arts school might want to give out in their brand image and logo. So always think about the keywords and then how they relate back to the target audience when you're designing a logo. Now, I didn't know much or anything about jiu-jitsu before this project, so I made sure that I studied, I researched, and I knew pretty much everything there is to know about it. I even got to know the terminologies and the lingo in this actual industry sector. I feel like the better you understand your client's industry sector or niche, the far more superior your logo design will actually end up being. The keywords and body of research then lead onto the actual designing, finally, right? But if you really want to make an efficient logo design, then you're really going to take the next step seriously. So here I generated other keywords around my initial ones. So for example, I have some words for the keywords strong that I felt would actually relate back to the brand and the concept. I'd suggest trying this out for each of your original keywords. You won't regret it. These keywords have a true power and place in the logo design process, and you'll see how they can actually help generate several really good concepts. And to do that, you're going to need to bring the keywords together into pairs. And of course, in this project, it actually helped me make that brand name. So here are some of the word pairs that I generated. And as you can see, each pair relates back to the brand and they utilize those words, those very keywords from the previous phase. And here's a useful trick when making these word pairs. Try to think about things in a visual way and how you might actually demonstrate those words or those pairs in a concept visually speaking. So for example, grip might be a fist in some way. And this is where the creative side of things start to come into play in the process. But yeah, I wanted to add jujitsu at the very end of the brand name to incorporate that into the logo itself. This is something I spoke to the client about before I did it, just to see they were on the same page as I was for this part of the design. So once I decided on the crucial brand name thanks to the keywords and the word pairs, which was iron grip, I again generated words around that pair to come up with my logo concepts. I do love keywords, as you can tell. I try to think about things visually again and what words might communicate the message effectively. One initial idea that came to mind was a fist due to the word grip, and grip is a huge part of jiu-jitsu. Thanks to my crash course in jiu-jitsu research in the project. I know a fist is quite cliche, but this was just an initial starting point, to be honest. The fist was also way too detailed, so I started to make up simple shapes that could maybe resemble a fist in some way, as you can see here. I also considered shape psychology and how that relates back to martial arts and sports. Stability and strength are communicated by straight edge shapes and straight lines. I thought this was a really good choice to pursue, and I learned this from my research earlier. I actually decided on the shape psychology early on in the process. And like I said, a serif font was never on the cards for this logo design, but I finally went for a bold sans serif typeface for this logo, and this would fit in line with the brand a lot better than a serif. And again, going back to the research, the choice of typography was really easy because I had that body of research. Another concept that I wanted to explore was that of using G in grip. I simplified things from a G into somewhat side view of a fist, but added a hook section here that will actually give a metallic kind of feel, which again just relates back to the iron part of that brand name. It's often things like this, these small details that do leverage your logo and give you some good talking points and some kind of legs to stand on in the pitch to the client. Now I went on and applied more shape psychology and made sure to include straight edges so the logo does conform to a strong, robust nature. However, some of the important keywords were team and togetherness, if you remember. And so to incorporate that, I referred back to my shape psychology and added a circular shape which is conforming to that. I was now headed in the final direction for the logo, and I felt that there was just too much negative space right here. If the logo was set on top of typography, it would just look a bit odd having this much space right here. So I came up with several design solutions to resolve that issue, and these are the 3 logo design solutions. I really like this design, and I thought this was a strong, iconic, and it just simply worked. However, here's the plot twist. The client wanted design finally as seen here, the triangle edition, and I personally don't prefer this design, but hey, client always wins, right? Now, which design do you prefer, and do you like this design process? Let me know in the comment down below, and of course, until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.